Right now, we have the Showdown field as our current event, where we spend energy to get this very delicious looking Ruel's Fortune Cookie as the currency, and also this very, very cute Renock emote. So this video is going to be going over the items in the Radiant Hope shop where we spend the currency, whether or not it's worth buying the items, and all of the math or whatever that went through the termination for whether it's worth. Also, very important note, this event is bugged right now. You're supposed to have this additional effect here, or having these units in your team, you get extra currency, and sometimes it doesn't work. I've seen people say that it doesn't work if you fail a run, and then your next run won't get the bonus. Some people have said that it just stops working sometimes. So I would personally avoid farming this event for now, at least until Smilegate issues something saying that, hey, it's fixed, you don't gotta worry about it anymore. We have a whole month to do it, so I don't think it'll be that big of an issue if you wait a week or something to start farming this event. So let's go over whether or not it's worth farming this event, because we've got limited items, plus we have unlimited items here. So let's go over the items first. So we have Frantic Flight here. It is an alternative version of the POS artifact from the Aespa collab. This gives you 10 crit chance, and then you can stack up to 6 times. 2% at plus, or at level 1. So then once you max this out to plus 30, it should be 4%. So when fully stacked, that'll be 10 crit chance, 24% attack, and 24 crit damage. POS is 2% per stack, 10 stacks total, so that's 20% attack, 20% crit chance, and 20% crit damage. So POS is a bit more in terms of raw stats, but if you're looking mainly at attack and crit damage, this stack's a little bit higher. I would say this isn't really super high priority, but I'm farming it for the collection anyways, even though the price is pretty steep. Now we have all the gear, so this is just pretty much like attack scaling debuffer gear, or if you dodge attack, it could just be debuffer gear. Same with the sword, same with the helmet, same with the chest really, and then pretty much all of this gear is attack scaling debuffer gear. So this would be units that want to land maybe burns or something, stuff like Summertime Assyria or Silverblade Araminta. So these pieces, I would say, are also pretty good. You could also just speed check them, and also effectiveness check the boots. All of these pieces of gear, I would say, are worth buying. And now we have the charms. The charms, I would say, a little bit less so. The price on these is pretty steep, and it's just one charm. So we can, I'll say that you could buy this, but I think that it's not really worth it, and I will be skipping these personally. So now, importantly, is the infinite items. We have this chest here, which has speed set, counter set, plus HP set, a random piece of level 85 equipment, which is pretty much just the Leaf/Overlord event, but a little bit worse because you can't pick which set you're getting, and also it's more expensive. There's also the 30k gold for 30 currency. So now let's dive into how much energy it will take to fully clear out this entire shop, or at least certain parts of the shop. And we'll go over whether or not it's worth getting these unlimited items. So here we have, these are all of the items. This is how many of the items there are, the quantity. This here is the, I guess, total currency. I spelled total wrong. Total currency. I might as well fill this out. Item. Currency is too long, so I can shorten it. Currency. It's this amount. Amount. Item, currency, amount, total currency. And then this is the grouping. So if you want to max out the artifact, it's 10,000 currency. If you want to buy all of the equipment and accessory gear, I should probably specify gear here, then it'll be 11,600 currency to buy all of the gear. And then if you want to buy all of the charms, it's 8,500 currency for a grand total of 30,100 currency to buy every single item in the shop. So now, of course, we also have to look at how much is it going to cost to buy out the shop in terms of energy. So I'm actually going to add one column here. We'll just do 60, and we can just extend this way. It takes like 5 seconds. Not even that. The formula's messed up here somewhere. Actually, no, it's not. Just make sure. 60. Okay. So here, this is the amount of currency you get per run. This is with nobody. Let's see. Nobody. This is with Victorica. This is if you include Renock. I'm doing Renock first just because her banner's still up, so everybody can get her, and this is if you include Crow. Oh, that was already up there. What the? I swear to God I already put that in there, but I couldn't see it. Okay, nobody. There we go. So this is nobody. This is with Victorica. This is adding Renock on top of Victorica, and this is adding Crow on top of Renock. So this is how many runs it would take for you to buy this level here, all of the artifacts, and this is how much energy it would take, 24 energy per entry, and this is all assuming hard difficulty, of course. So if you have nobody, it would take you 4,000 energy to buy out the artifact and max limit break it, and if you have everybody, it would only take you 2,666.67 energy. Here we're looking at the gear. The gear, it's 4,640 energy if you have nobody, 4218, whatever. You can look at the middle parts. I'll just talk about the two like ends. And then 3,093 if you have everybody for all of the gear. And the charms, it's 3,400 energy if you have nobody, and 2,266.67 if you have everybody. So total to buy out the entire shop, it'll cost you about 12,040 energy if you have nobody, and 8,026.67 energy if you have everybody. Of course, like I said, I'll be buying the artifact for collection purposes, the gear, because it's good gear, and I will be skipping the charms because I don't think it's worth it. So if I was only to buy out the artifact and the gear, and I have every single unit, so it'll only cost me 5,760 energy to clear out the shop. I basically get to save this amount of energy here, this 2,200 energy from skipping the charms. So the reason I think it's not really worth getting the charms is because, let's put it this way, it's 90 energy for me to get, or per run for me, right? So then this equipment charm, which is 120, that is 1.33 runs, 24 energy a run, so that's 32 energy. 32 energy for a greater charm, you could just go farm episode. You can go farm episode and you'll get like better rewards alongside the gear EXP, so I don't think that this equipment charm at least is worth it. And then there's the accessories, which it costs a little bit more, but of course we can't farm accessory EXP from episode, but I still don't really like this. I can just buy it from Arena using conquest points. And then the artifact charms, it'll depend on the person, but depends how your guild aid is going, I guess, with how many artifact charms you can get there. So the charms are kind of personal preference. I do think that equipment charms, at the very least, are definitely not worth it at all, though. Let's mark this in red. Definitely not worth it. The rest, personal preference. So now we've got the gearbox and the gold. Gearbox is 650 energy in order to buy the gearbox and get a random piece of gear. And this costs about 173 energy. So that 173 energy is 7 runs of this Showdown event, or it's also about 4 runs of Rift and 8 to 9 runs of Hunt. So we're basically comparing 4 runs of Rift, and 4 runs of Rift I'm pretty sure gets you a red gear, plus you get a bunch of other gear, like the pink gear you can sell for gold, and maybe you can speed check some stuff. I'm just going to farm Rift, especially since we have buffs coming up. I don't think it's worth farming this on buff or off buff personally. It's 4 runs of Rift, and then even if you're like, so a lot of newer players, I know you don't have Fene. Annoying to clear Rift, probably can't one cycle it if you don't have, you can't one cycle it if you don't have Fene, so you might be doing hunts. 8 to 9 runs of Hunt is still more valuable, I think, than this gearbox, just because it's so expensive. 7 runs, 173 energy for a piece of gear, and you can't pick the set. I think is pretty low value. I'd rather do the 8 to 9 runs of Hunt, get a bit of crafting materials, get some roll currency, and whatnot. So then our last item is the gold. And this could be summed up really quickly, but I already made the spreadsheet, so we're going to talk about it. Here is the expected gold per stigma. This is just the penguin sell amounts. This is how much the drop rates from forest, and then this is the EV total, and then this is per stigma, because it's 102 to summon a penguin. So here we have this is the gold per energy after converting Stigma to energy from Eulogy and Episode 5, which I got from Tristan Wolf. And then this is adding on 10% just because everybody should have 10% gold. 10% EXP might be a maybe, but these tests were done with 10% on, so I just upped it by 10%, and then we're reducing it by 15% just to account for errors or RNG in the data or whatever. It doesn't really matter, because when we look down here, you get about 153 Stigma from a run. This is, again, with only the 10% EXP, because you can use EXP boosters here. There's the Stigma overflow bar is there. 45 Stigma, or 45 EXP to 1 Stigma, the bar is there. You can use EXP boosters on this, like EXP artifacts, or new players have their EXP bonus. So all that stuff works fine here. And then, into the gold you get per run, converting this Stigma to gold, adding in this gold, gets us about 30,000 gold. So then, in the shop, of course, it's 30 currency for 3,000, or for 30,000 gold. About 1,000 gold per currency. If you have Victorica plus Renock, it's 78 currency per run. Victorica, Renock plus Crow, it's 90. So then, currency, converting it to gold is about this much. Our total gold is this much, and our gold per energy is only this much. So, even with me reducing the amount here, it's still worse gold per energy, just off of this alone. And we have to keep in mind that, like, Episode drops charms, it drops other, like, are these flipped? These might be flipped. Pretty sure Eulogy is supposed to be higher gold than Episode 5. They might be flipped, I'm not checking. Anyways, it's worse than both of them. So, but keep in mind that, like, Episode drops other things, like charms, or the really low chance drop rate stuff, like Proof of Courage, Leafs, Old Transit Stones, or whatnot. But just because we were only looking at this for gold in the first place, and it's worse, so there's not really any point in thinking about it. Anyways, that is it for the quick rundown on how much you should be farming this event. So, just to summarize, it's just, Gearbox sucks, gold sucks. The actual set gear, pretty good, worth buying. Charms, personal preference, except these equipment charms are garbage. And then the artifact is really only if you want to do it for collection purposes. So hopefully this helped anybody who wasn't sure how much to farm this event, and I will see you guys next time.